Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Tom Slivick with Vice Mayor Ron Smylie from Ione.
Hi, Tom.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Okay, so you had a good New Year.
Had a good New Year. Had a good Christmas, good New Year's, getting ready to go back to work now.
Okay. Well, one of the things that you do when you're working in your, I guess, in your spare time is the city councilman, and you have the title as Vice Mayor as well.
That's correct. I was the mayor, and then at the last meeting, we had 2 new councilmen come in, and evidently there's with some people a belief that common practice is that the vice mayor takes over as mayor. So we're going to go with the flow and see what happens after this.
Okay, so that's the common practice. And,
that's
all the cities.
Yeah.
Everything works different.
Correct.
So
that's what some people believe. So
does that mean, since you're the vice mayor, that next time you get to become the mayor again?
I don't know. Maybe. I guess if we go with the same old thing.
We used to do it this way.
Yeah. So,
okay. Anyway.
Good.
All right. So anyway, off to a new year there in Ione, and who's around the council?
Okay. Obviously, myself as the vice mayor. Dan Epperson is now the mayor, right. And Lloyd Oneto is still on. The 3 of us came on 2 years ago. 2 new members to the council are Dale Haney and Patrick Wirt.
Okay. Now, a lot of difficulty with the wastewater situation out there. Correct. In Ione. A lot of politics involved, and after the new election, everybody pretty squared away as where Ione's going.
Well, we've been working on remedying a problem. We've had the cease and desist order in place, and right now we are, I believe, waiting for some permitting because we have put in a plan with the Regional Wastewater Quality Control Board when we were looking at the ACL fines. We have a plan to do land irrigation, so that alleviates are having to store water and do a lot of percolation. We did get fined by the regional board. It was somewhat of a minimal fine, and they allowed half of that to be able to be used on upgrading some of our areas of our wastewater, the plan.
What plan are you going with now? What are you planning on building or putting in? Maybe you said that when you said the spray fields.
Right now we're looking at, because we're not going to a major overhaul of the plant, we're going to be putting in a disinfection system to send water out to some of the nearby properties for irrigation of alfalfa. Okay. And using the secondary water. And
so will those fields be close to where
yes.
you have the ponds now?
Yes, they will be. So it'll be minimal expense from that standpoint.
Okay, is that you have the environmental reviews and things done, or is that in the works?
Oh, still in the works, but as far as I understand to today, we should be getting an update, hopefully at the next meeting or two, where we actually are, because we have to have this project completed by October of 2013.
Okay, so it seems like you have a sure plan now, and you're on the path and headed that way.
Well, it looks like we're moving forward.
Do people still come to the meetings?
Sure.
I know you haven't had that many, and I'm sure they come, but I mean, and still bring this up? Are they still hashing this out some?
Well, I think that people still come to the meetings because they're still concerned, and there's still a lot of confusion as to where we're going. So, it's always good to see people come to the meetings. Okay.
All right. Let's move on some. Ione, I believe, too, last year you were having some, I believe, reconciliation problems with your budget.
That's correct.
And you're moving forward with that. How is that working out?
Well, it's been a very interesting 2 years, to say the least. We are working on reconciling the books, making sure that we have all the proper monies in the proper accounts and the proper funds. We're planning to have a budget workshop on the 31st, so we get more clarification to the public as to what are the exact fund balances and also kind of where we stand with our revenues and expenditures.
Okay, so that's probably I think it's time. We'll take a break, then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about that. We're going to take a break, like I said, and then we'll be back with Vice Mayor Ron Smylie from Ione.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Tom Slivick with Vice Mayor Ron Smylie from Ione, and we were talking about the budget process there. You're having a workshop the 31st. It seems that from an outsider's point of view, and not really being able to bear down on it all the time, that maybe there was difficulties. It sounded like for sure maybe you clear it up. It's like that there's funds, and you have different categories of funds, and I guess city managers or whatever move funds around, this and that. So, and if the tracking system isn't really well, you can get mixed up. Is that what it is that you're attacking right now?
I think you're pretty much correct with that. I think what has happened is monies had been shifted around, and the accountability wasn't very good. We've kind of narrowed that down, and I think where most people's concern is that the funds are the fund FUND balances. Monies are used for other things than they should be used for legally. And so right now what we're doing is trying to make sure that the funds that are supposed to be in those categories go in those categories, stay in those categories, and are used for those purposes. One example would be Measure M monies. Measure M is the sales tax that goes specifically for fire. Okay, it can only be used in certain ways, and so therefore it has a separate fund, and we want to make sure we're tracking that and it's not going other places it should be. And I'll come back to the workshop. That is a time where the public can get more information. The public can have a lot more input. It's more of a relaxed situation rather than just at a council meeting. So it's more of a roundtable, hopefully.
You don't make
discussion.
Decisions at the workshops, do you? Okay, so that's basically a talking workshop, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
For understanding. Clarity.
That's correct.
Okay. Those are good things to go to, and you probably have some people coming down to that. Okay, so we move on from budget, and you've been making progress already, right?
Yes.
With all that, so that's we talked about.
As we go into that, I'll mention. I don't know if you had mentioned that we do have a new city manager, Ed Pattison.
Right.
And he's been working very well with staff, been working with the council, trying to cut areas of money, trying to do things as cost effectively as possible. And in talking with him a number of times, he also likes the idea of having workshops to have the public involved. So,
okay, it seemed like that whole process also maybe started with Boots Off. It was a lot of getting the town citizenry, up to speed, involved with, and very open-doored, right?
yes, to an extent. And now, because he was an interim, there wasn't any real consistency. Now, hopefully, we're going to be able to have those types of things going on.
Okay, great. Now, we could talk. We're going to get into Parks and Recreation, but one of the things Ione, I think that's a great downtown, historic downtown-looking area. It seems like it's being revived almost all the time. Is there funds? Do you have a program for that?
Well, there was a Caltrans grant, like a block grant, that was awarded, and there was a master plan developed for downtown as far as revitalization of the downtown area. And that's been completed. There's copies at City Hall if somebody wants to look at it. And that now is completed to where we can look at that and use that as a guide to, either helping businesses out or how we're going to redevelop the downtown area.
Okay. I wanted to say, I think the way it's the town's lit up, all the rooftop areas like that, really pulls the town together at nighttime nicely, doesn't it? Okay, you're shaking your head in agreement.
I'm in agreement with it.
Yeah. All right. Now, Parks and Recreation, great parks out there in Ione.
Right.
What's going on with out there? How do you keep them looking so good?
Well, we have a number of parks in town. A lot of them people don't know about, basically because they know about Howard Park, and that's where usually a lot of the activities go. And
got the park with Little Ivan. Iron Ivan?
No, Iron Ivan's the train park behind City Hall.
Right. I mean, that's one of them, and then there's
Park,
another one.
And then there's Grover Park, and there's
Right.
Perry Earl Park, and so there's all these small parks, and they all need to be maintained. And we have some new members on the Parks and Rec Commission who are really proactive. I'm the council liaison for the Parks and Rec, and having grown up in Ione, the Parks and Recreation for me has been kind of an important thing.
Sure.
And we're going to be talking more with the soccer leagues, the baseball leagues. We have a committee set up that deals with the arena, and they're going to be looking more closely at all the operation of the arena. We have another committee that's set up that's going to be looking at the maintenance types of areas of the parks and making suggestions to the council. So there's really some really proactive groups. We also, you're probably aware of, have the train depot that we want to move to a city property.
Right, I'm very interested in that as well.
We were awarded some money from the Rancheria to help us move
Right.
that in that project. We received a grant from the Historical Society that will also help with that. We also have a committee that's doing fundraising. So we have the people who have kind of come alive in Ione.
Do you have
and stepping out.
kind of a future plan for that park out
Yep.
there? Where the train depot is. I think for people that have seen the speeders, they go on out there. You have a day, I believe it's like some kind of nice train day, and TSPN, me and Tommy tend to go on out there. And of course I think the junior high is right next to it. And they use the gym, and they fill that thing with HO and AA, AAA trains, or G. I think that's what it is, G, gosh, that's big. And
well, we've talked about what the uses of the train depot would be. I'd like to see part of it be a train museum. We talked about the possibility of another part of it being just an overall Ione museum, because we really don't have anything that exhibits a lot of that. And then, being able to have some of the bigger rooms as meeting halls. So there's a lot of different types of things that we can use the building for, and then sponsor different kinds of events in that park.
Okay. And you expressed to me off the air that I guess you're a little disappointed that some of the tracks from SPI, I think from the train depot here in Jackson, you could have used some of those.
Well, I think anytime...
Did anybody know they were going out fast enough
I don't think so.
to put in a requisition order or something?
It was kind of fascinating to me. Of course, I guess I'm out of touch with reality, but I was surprised that they even tore down the old depot in Martell. And so that would have been nice to be able to get some of those rails, but I'm sure that this committee will...
Sure, because if you have more rails, you can put more stuff on display out there, right? Yeah. Okay. And let's see. So the parks, that's basically monies from fundraising?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much that. What is your relationship with ACRA?
Well, we've been working with ACRA, not on a real consistent basis, due to the fact that we've been having some budget constraints, and we aren't actually paying into that group.
Does that mean you take care of your parks?
We take care of our parks. We have our own master plan. However, we have adopted the ACRA master plan so we can coordinate the two, and they can kind of work hand in hand.
Okay. And have any upcoming events?
Not
the workshop?
Not other than the workshop right this time, and just the things going on with the parks. So that's about it right now.
They're probably going to have some kind of Valentine's thing at the castle, wouldn't you think?
It could be some scary kind of Valentine's.
I've been pushing for trying to get some Scooby-Doo cartoons going on out there, and
that would be good
at the nighttime, and make it dark in there, and wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun.
It's all very ghost-like in there, right?
Yeah, we would have a good time with that.
Okay, well, there I am on the light side, and thanks for coming by.
Thank
and
you.
Give us
Always
an
a
update,
pleasure.
and we'll have you on more often, and try to keep abreast of what's happening out there in Ione. And stay with us. There's more on the other side of the break. I have some lost dog reports.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.